Alrighty, I have another game here. Going second. Playing Nin some more. And my opponent is playing Captain Sisay. I have never actually played this guy before. Banalin. In my experience, as you've seen in other replays, Captain Sisay tends to be played by pretty skilled, savvy players. And can be a real problem. Especially if they go first, and especially if they draw... Well, I guess he did double mulligan. Turn 1 Soul Rain. I wonder what percentage of my replays actually contain this opening. Quite a few of them, I guess. I mean, it's just a testament to how degenerate the card is. I've thought a lot about whether banning Soul Ring and Mana Crypt would help or hinder my decks. And I honestly feel that my decks do not depend on the card to win. Certainly Nin doesn't at all. It would probably be made quite a bit stronger when it didn't have to contend with opponents that have this card in their deck. But whatever the case, I am having a pretty excellent draw, I think. Certainly, specifically to face a Captain Sisay, because I've got Rolling Earthquake in my main hand and the Simulacrum and Karn. And so I've got stuff to play at all stages of the game, as well as both colors of mana from the start. But now I've got to face a turn 2 Captain Sisay. My top deck mana drain, which is awesome. Oh, on the top I saw a Sculpting Steel, I think. Sculpting Steel, Brainstorm, Memory Lapse. And even though I only have one other land, I actually, I kind of want to get to... the Sculpting Steel, because I'd like to copy the Soul Ring, given how light my mana is. So even though this is a kind of dubious situation here, I do have the option of just sacking my Flooded Strand if the situation unfolds that I need to do something different. But right now my plan is to just play a second land. Obviously he's going to run out Captain Sisay on his next turn. He'll tutor for something at a minimum of 4 mana, possibly 5, and I'll mana drain it, and then I can just throw down Karn and kill Captain Sisay or kill the Soul Ring and try to take over from there. Plus the lapse buys me some extra time too, which is nice. But fortunately he does not hit a Plains on his second draw, and I guess that's the thing with a double mulligan, right? Even drawing first in Commander, you're not guaranteed to get white. He did get this card though, Vegetation. So he's playing some weird mana ramp version of Captain Sisay. There's the Brainstorm. So I thought about brainstorming here. Well, actually I didn't really consider that too much. I thought about whether or not I was going to, what I would do if he wound up casting anything. But I assume he's just going to cast Captain Sisay here. So my plan was to actually lapse it. Kind of wanted to lapse it first, hope to draw into some more land, because if I mana drain a 4 mana spell and I don't draw a land, I kind of just brick the whole turn. I'm not really doing anything interesting besides casting Simulacrum. But instead of casting his commander, he just casts these 2 stupid things, which gives me the room to brainstorm. There's my Sculpting Steel, there's a Wasteland and a Preordain. So I decided I'm not going to go with the Karn plan anymore. I'm just going to, I'm going to Earthquake instead. Especially because I don't want 2 uncastable things sitting on top of my deck for a while. So instead of that, I'm going to just sack right now. Sure enough, land shows up right on schedule. And off the Preordain, I see more land and a Power Stone, which is less effective given his Pride Mage. But my real hope here is that he just gets a little greedy and he casts Captain Sisay on his next turn. Well, I guess that's not too greedy, but anyway, and I'm able to Rolling Earthquake away both of his guys with mana up to drain or lapse. I keep the Power Stone on top though. Actually, no wait, I think I put it on the bottom. That's right, I put the Power Stone on the bottom. Figuring I'm just going to Sculpting Steel, and I don't really see an opening here in the next couple of turns to deploy the Power Stone without just feeding it to the Pride Mage. Fortunately, he casts another 4 mana spell besides Captain Sisay, which I'm able to mana drain. So now he's just walking right into the Rolling Earthquake. This works out extremely well. So we sculpt his Soul Ring, quake away both of his guys, play land. casting something huge for 7. So instead of forbidding this, I decide I'm going to try to get him to walk into a very unfriendly Fact or Fiction next turn. So I'm just going to lapse it instead. Draw Force of Will. And here he goes, Sylvan Primordial again. And I love this. This is a very, in my opinion, pretty high-tech play here, where you have the ability to counterspell. You have the ability to counterspell a big threat, but your opponent doesn't know what's in your hand. He hasn't seen Forbid or Force of Will yet. So you show him Fact or Fiction first, and invariably your opponent will give you a split that he thinks is super favorable for the exact situation. So he feeds me 4 cards for my Forbid versus a relatively useless Remand. And now I have Forbid food. Throw away the Royal and the Felwar Stone. And now it's Nin time. So we recast Captain Sisay. I'm going to thirst here, see what I can find. My actual plan right now is to, well, I have a couple of options. I mean, I'm thinking I'm ultimately probably going to have to either force or forbid here. I'd much rather force a will, of course. So I'm just getting more cards to do it with. And I get Monolith, Shackles, and Relic off of Thirst for Knowledge. Can't complain about that. And of course the Shackles are just going to make this easy. And he lignifies my guy. And I think about this for a little while, but ultimately because I have Muddle in my hand, Muddle is just, I don't know, it could be a lot of stuff, but mainly it's just the Snapcaster Mage, which will allow me to get into the Royal, bounce my Nin back, and get rid of the Lignify, so it's not a big threat. I'm going to sack it end of turn here. Let's take away his guy. So we're transmuting now to go get the Snapcaster. I probably should have tapped Captain Sisay there. I was thinking about, like, do I actually have any legendary permanents in my deck? And I realized I do. I think I have one. I think the Mox Opal can be retrieved with Captain Sisay. So I probably should have gone to go get that. Not like it really matters at this point. Anyway, he taps 8 mana for Terastrodon. And I just counter it. Condescend, and that is the end of the game. So yeah, he double mulliganed, but he did get that old turn 1 Soul Ring with the Captain Sisay deck. I guess no point in time was he ever really mounting that much of a threat because of the cards I started with, but still a pretty cool game. Hope you enjoyed it.